Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we are back in the Amagi. It's been a while, guys. I know we play this on stream quite a bit lately actually, but we haven't had a good video in it in a while. So we're bringing out the Amagi and just trying to showcase this ship for what it is. Now, I love the Amagi, always have. But there's no doubt about it that the Amagi has always been a tale of two ships. Like, it is literally amazing or awful, and there's not really an in-between. It's just one of those ships that you take out expecting to be trolled, and then when it doesn't, you have great games. Now, this isn't going to be a crazy great game, but it's mostly due to the fact that there's only so much that you can do in any given match. And if your team does what they're supposed to do, then you're going to be limited in your overall damage output. Now, that's one of the downsides of World of Warships Legends versus World of Warships PC. On PC, 12 people to shoot at, more people to go around. But on console, only 9. So you gotta keep that in mind. We may not get those gigantic games. Anything over 100,000 damage is a pretty solid game in any tier. Of course, the lower the tier, the more ridiculous a 100k game is, but sometimes easier to get over 100k in lower tiers just due to the fact that people don't know what they're doing. But as you get into the higher tiers, anytime you're over 100k, you're doing well. Like, that's a solid game. Anytime you're over 150k, that's a great game. Okay, and anytime you're over 200k, that's something special. And then of course you got those ridiculous games that just come out of nowhere, and you get, you know, high 200s, even 300s. And I've heard of people doing 400, but I don't believe that necessarily outside of Arena. Like, I just don't see it. But yeah, like, ridiculous games. Like, those games are ridiculous to come by. You need so many things to go in your favor. You need an enemy team that's completely and utterly garbage. You need your team to be just good enough to not die immediately, but not good enough to do any damage. And all of the things have to come together for those kinds of games. But to get over 150k, pretty easy to do most of the time. This one's not going to be quite 150k. It's going to be a pretty solid game though. But here you're going to see the concealment mod. It's one of the things that sets apart the Japanese from most of the others. They have the ability to use concealment. And so we're able to outspot this Iowa. We're not actually spotting the Iowa. He's not quite in range to be spotted by us. But Richelieu comes out. He's a little over-angled. I'm going to take that shot on the Richelieu, and I'm going to immediately start turning in to get an angle against these guys so that we don't get blapped. Now, first shot of 9,200 damage feels pretty good. And then the Richelieu's shooting HE back at us. So that's not preferable. Speaking of HE, we're also being shot by a cruiser over the top of the island. And we immediately get set on fire twice. We're not spotted currently, and we don't want to put ourselves in a position to be spotted so that they can set us on fire again. So we just hold our shot and we turn out. Why are we doing this? Well, it's pretty simple. There's a Weimar over here, and if I start shooting again, he's going to be able to lob this island and set me on fire indefinitely. So we want to just stop shooting, disengage, and come out here and punch this Weimar in the mouth. Now, obviously, the Weimar has already realized that he's about to be attacked. He's turned around and he's heading the other direction. However, there's a Baltimore here as well, and he doesn't quite get the memo. But honestly, the Balti, as scary as it is, especially if you give it a broadside, it's dangerous, but the Weimar is such a nasty little pain in the butt that I want to try to get him off as quickly as possible. I know there's some phrasing in there somewhere, but we want to get him out of here. We don't want to leave this little punk alive. And so we're going to line him up. We get a good shot here. He's at the closest range he's probably ever going to be during the match. And we just overpin him. Yep, that's the way it goes. Why is it that the Weimar gets overpinned, but the York does not? That's one thing that I've just never quite understood about certain ships. Like, they're sister ships. Why is it that some sister ships just get away with things more than others? I don't understand it. But one you pay for, one you don't. So, you know, maybe there might be a correlation there. Who knows? But we get a very nasty hit on him that time, getting 2 full penetrations rather than overpins. You can see the damage difference in the salvo. Same amount of hits, but penetrations versus overpins. But unfortunately for this Balti, he's playing with fire too. We overmatch his 27mm bow and stern, and so any shot we get that's actually going to hit him is going to hurt. But we only get 2 shells into him initially. You can see I am kiting away here because I know that there's another battleship coming around. So we don't want to get into a position where we're rushing into 2 DPM cruisers and a battleship. Like, that's just not going to end in my favor, right? You can see the amount of damage a tier 6 freaking cruiser is doing to us with HE. Like, that's the beauty of that quarter pin HE. It does stupid amounts of damage and still has a high fire chance. So, getting into an open water fight with them plus the battleship, not going to be in my favor. So I turn around, I wrap back around, and we're going to head towards the base. We have cruisers behind us, but they weren't really put in a position where they could help us. They were focusing the Richelieu, and they got rid of the Richelieu, which is fine. I have no problem with that. So I just got to make sure that I'm paying attention, and this is one area that I've gotten myself into trouble many a times. I point this out a lot, even though there's a lot of times that people watch my streams and are like, well, Spartan, you always say this, you always say that, but you don't follow it. Well, I do follow it. I try to hit destroyers whenever I can. I try to make sure I'm winning my side. I try to do things. But you also got to think that in the heat of the battle, you sometimes forget, you know, all of the things that you always tell people you should be doing to win the battle. Does that mean that the things that I tell people are any less relevant? No. It just means that in the moment, sometimes you get carried away and you forget. Okay? Tunnel vision happens to everybody. No matter how good you are in the match, no matter, you know, tunnel vision, people getting caught, people getting out of position because they're taking themselves out of position. It happens all the time. And so, keep that in mind. I am always saying that I'm above average at best. I don't consider myself to be a great World of Warships player. I just enjoy the game. Even though sometimes it's literally one of the most... I say sometimes. It is literally one of the most frustrating games I've ever played. It's just the way the game is. It's the nature of the game. But Weimar's able to dodge our shot. I don't think he actually saw my shot coming. I think it was the HE coming towards him that he was trying to dodge. But our Weimar goes whole ham, throws everything he's got, trying to get rid of that Iowa. And, you know, sure enough, he actually pulls it off. He gets rid of the Iowa. But, of course, that's going to also end in the Weimar's immediate removal from the match. Now, we have Balti here just begging for it. So I am salivating. I take the shot. I recognize that he's about to go forward, stay behind the island. Baltimore helps get rid of our Weimar with the Iowa's help. Iowa gets a little retribution, manages to take out the Weimar after Weimar is able to take him out. So, you know, it's unfortunate when you're in those positions, but again, that's the difference. You gotta keep yourself out of those sorts of positions. That's kind of what could have happened to us if we charged that Weimar also. Plus, he had the Balti there for help, plus the Iowa coming up behind him. So, pushing towards them, all three, just not a good opportunity. However, Balti goes down pretty quickly. The Weimar is behind an island. We have a chance to shoot completely blind. We take the shot, hoping that he doesn't see it coming. This time, nobody's actually shooting at him, except me. And so, I say the Balti's down. The Balti's still there. He's still doing well. I thought he went down. That was the Weimar's dead corpse. But, yeah. So you can see our guys are pushing up on the Balti. The Weimar's circling back around. Here's another one of those opportunities where I don't pull the trigger right away. Sure, I could fire at this Weimar, but he's not going to spot me until 13.4 kilometers. So why not let him close that distance a little bit? He's getting overconfident. He's closing the distance, and you can see right around 13.5 kilometers. I'm measuring him up. He turns out he's in a full turn. This is the easiest shot you're ever going to get, right? There's nothing he can do about this, and we punish him. And he goes down by the cruiser that hits him right after. Balti gets a good chunk on us. You can see the AP of the Balti ain't no slouch. And you know, the Amagi, while it is very, very tanky against battleships at close range, at intermediate range, like this thing is known for taking a lot of penetrations. Whether it be battleships, whether it be cruisers, the Balti shreds Amagis. if given a broadside. Like, it's nasty. But you can see, getting some pretty solid RNG here, hitting the man right up the prop shaft for 13,000 damage. That's that overmatch that you love, and the overmatch that you hate in a Balti. You know, anytime you go up against 16-inch guns or above in a Balti, you know that you cannot be taking hits, because you're just gonna get shredded no matter where they hit. And every hit you take is a potential citadel, because much like the Pensacola, it seems to be made out of citadels, and we just absolutely punish him once again. Now, this game is far from over, guys. Sure, we have the advantage. We have the cap advantage. Our guys are capturing their base, which is going to leave them 1-3. Plus, we have the DPM on our side with the cruisers. And, you know, but still, 3 battleships can easily balance a couple of cruisers if they get careless. And our battleship on the Bravo cap, I don't know how much health he's got, but he's clearly trying to disengage. The man is being shot at by, assuming, 3 battleships. So he's got to try to keep himself away from them. Again, we're winning. There's no reason for our team to go fully crazy here. You got to keep that in mind. Pay attention to the score. Pay attention to what you need to do to win. You don't always need to rush in and kill everybody. Now, that being said, I am very healthy. And I am very confident that at the ranges that we're going to be engaging at here at the late game, that I'm going to have an advantage against every single one of these battleships. Now, we get a Bismarck spotted right off the bat. You can see I take the aim, I take the shot. He's going to be in a pretty nasty location to be getting touched here. Bismarck at medium and long ranges is not tanky. It just isn't. Everybody wants to talk about the Bismarck and the German battleships being tanky. They don't get tanky until close range. They just don't. At range, you shred them. Like, nastily shred them. But up close and personal, that's where they become a threat. But Amagi also has a turtleback. It's not quite as good as the Germans, but it does have a turtleback, which means it also gains an advantage up close. And it can absolutely take the hits up close and personal, and then dish out just devastating broadsides. Remember, up until Kansas came out, this had the heaviest broadside at Tier 7. Okay? 10 410mm guns. If you get that to be accurate, up close, it's devastating. As this King George is about to find out. So, hello, sunshine. Wait for it. Pow! And we get very unfortunate, only getting 6 hits. No Citadel on a King George at this range is actually said. I was honestly expecting the man to disappear in that salvo. Not gonna lie. But we also noticed that the Sinop is starting to push out. So we're going to try to finish off this King George once again. We're aiming a little bit high because I've noticed a lot of times my shells falling short in close range. So we aim a little high, get more of those shells to actually hit the target, but that also leads to overpins, as we get 4 overpins and only 2 full pins, which means King George lives. But he's looking like he's about to eat some torpedoes. You can see I am still aimed at him just in case, but sure enough, he does take a torpedo here and die. And that means I can focus this Sinop. Now, Sinop makes the dumbest choice he could possibly make in this situation, which is just rush in blindly. He's not going to do anything here, and I get a shot into his broadside. That's death. It wouldn't have mattered if he had full health at that point. He's dead. Now here, we're going to get into a fight, close range, Bismarck versus Amagi, and we're going to showcase just the difference in tankiness, but also the difference in broadside damage output of these two ships. Now, we're roughly similar. He's got a little less hit points going in than we do. He's got better secondaries than us, but our secondaries get the first fire. I say as we both score a fire roughly about the same time. I aim high, I aim towards the bow, and we absolutely crush that man. But he also absolutely crushes us right back. Again, Bismarck no slouch, alright? It's got 8 15-inch guns, and he just unloaded them right into my ship. And of course, I say, I may not have been Citadel by him, which is why the turtleback is nice. Keeps you from getting Citadel'd up close. I may not have been Citadel, but I darn sure took a beating. But fortunately for us, we did enough damage in that one to finish off everybody, or to get everybody low enough for the cruisers to do what they can do. 132,000 damage, Dreadnought, top of the leaderboard, 2,500 base, not too shabby. So let me know what you guys think. Do you guys enjoy the Amagi, taking it out every once in a while for a good time? And if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.